Okay, cousins, here we go. I'm going to show you now how to do it once it's been in the refrigerator overnight. So here is my dough. It's been in the refrigerator overnight. And see right there. So what you do is, again, you have to have cold hands. I always get my hands cold and wet so it doesn't stick to you. A little bit of flour, and you can kind of see I already did one, so there was a little bit of flour in there already. And then some flour on the counter. And then you just take out a batch. So it's sticky on the bottom. Very sticky. And we'll do a little bit bigger of a piece. And then you just take that, put that back in the fridge. Which we're not going to do yet, but... So then I just take my dough, and she talks about kneading it a little bit. And what you do is you just kind of wrap it around like this, and then fold it in, and then fold it again. And if your hands are getting warm, it's going to start sticking to them. But we're going to take it, and I'm going to put some onions in it. So we talked about when we did it at the house the other day at Cynthia's, I put onions just on top, but I'm going to mix in a little bit of onions. And what the trick with the onions is they are not solely completely cooked through, only, semi, with a little bit of olive oil. So I'm going to just mix that in a little bit while I knead that a little bit. Because what I want to do is I want to have it a little bit inside of the dough, and then I want to have it on the outside of the dough. So you'll see. So then I've got a little bit of flour on the counter here, and all I'm going to do is press it out a little bit and cover that up. It's very forgiving. And I'm just taking my fingers like this, and I'm really not trying to knead it. I'm just trying to get it to flatten out a little bit more. Now you can make this bigger, obviously. Mine is little, but so then I'm going to put it on a piece of parchment paper on this cookie sheet here. And so, hopefully you can see that. So I'm just going to knead it out a little bit more. Okay, so you're going to do this portion twice, once now and then once when we are, right before we put it in the oven. But fingers again. You just put a whole bunch of holes. I mean, think about focaccia bread. It's got lots of little holes in it. Okay? Okay. Then I'm going to take some of the olive oil. I like to put it in a little tablespoon. That way it doesn't like goop on there, because you don't want a huge amount on your dough. And then I just kind of spread it like that. Not a lot, because hopefully you're going to dip it in it. Then I have coarse salt. So some people have like the salt that you just pull out of the little thing, and it's kind of a little bit coarse. I make this thing is I can pull it and have it be coarse. It needs the salt, just telling you, it needs the salt. So I just make sure it's all covered. It's about right there. It's all covered. Then I'm going to take these onions and sprinkle a few little onions on here. Because these onions are going to get a little bit crispier than the onions down below. They're inside. You don't want to, that's the other thing, is they tell you don't cover it like completely, because if you cover it completely, it won't be right. And you can see as it rises, it's going to start, so that's why I re-poke it. And then right before I put it in the oven, we're going to re-poke it again. So I'm going to clean my hands off with cold water, because then it comes right off. And then I'm going to say cheers and have a drink. Okay. Now, currently I have it on parchment paper, and I have it on just a metal tin or pan. I think Cynthia had that one pan that had the little things in it. You didn't need the parchment paper. It was pretty cool. I'm getting one of those. So now we're going to walk over here. I'm going to show you. So what I usually do is I set it by my oven, and then I just let it rise. You can do, so I'm gonna put my oven on at 425. So I'm gonna do pre-bake, which takes, for me, it takes about 20 minutes. Start. And then I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Here it goes. Okay. So now I'm going to show you. Now there's a couple of things you can do. You can take a towel, and I say a tea towel, not a cotton towel. That's like this, but a tea towel. And we happen to get these in Wenatchee on our first girlfriendship. And you can cover it if you want or not. I sometimes don't even cover it. Just depends. If it's in a cool, breezy area, cover it. If it's not, like mine's right here in the next to the oven, it's fine, okay? And then what I want to show you, so I'm going to see if I how to flip this. No, I don't know how to flip it. Okay, so I'm going to show you in the oven two things. So my oven's on. This is a stone. And this is Tara. This is my pan that you gave me. So when we get ready to cook the bread, as soon as I put the bread in there, you take a cup of hot water or cup of cold water, and you pour it into that broiler pan right when you put your bread in there to cook. So there's the stone, and here is the regular pan. So I'm going to tell you two different ways of doing this. One is with the aluminum pan, and here's a loaf I made this morning, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And this had nothing, just had the salt on it and everything. But the bottom is, it's cooked. It's got a sound. So, kind of a little hollow sound. The bottom isn't as crispy as some people like it. That's the difference between this pan and putting it in the oven on a hot stone. So my stone is in the oven, and so is the broiler pan getting really hot, up to 420 degrees. So what I will do is when this is ready in 20 minutes, I will just slide this onto the hot stone. And what happens is because that stone is really hot, it cooks evenly with, see how the edges are browned, but this isn't? Because this is cold, the pan is. If I put it onto that hot stone, it's going to make that bottom part really brown. And the water in it gives you this crustiness, which is what everyone kind of likes, that crunch. It gives it, but it has to be cold water put in there, about a cup of cold water. And you can't put it in afterwards or anything like that. You have to put it in right away, close the door. And then what happens is that steam, you'll see it because it hits that pan, it just shh, that steam seals in the bread and then creates this crust as it slowly cooks the outside. So like if you're making bread for sandwiches, you like that soft crust. That's why you don't put it in there. But if you've ever gotten those bread bowls that have the crunchiness, that's how they do it. They put in hot water. So this one is already cooked, obviously. And then this one is the one that I'm making, and I put the onions in it and everything. And then once it's done, you just pull it out. Pull it out. And it's in there for, let's see, 425 degrees. And I put it in for 25 minutes, but I do check it about 20 minutes because sometimes everyone's oven's a little bit different, but I always do it at 425, this bread anyway. And you can see this bread had like nice, cool little bubbles. Let's cut it. Let's cut it. You all know what this tastes like, so, because you've all had it. So this is this one, and I'll show you later the other one. But the reason you go back afterwards and poke it more is so that you get these little bubbles and everything. So anyway, that's how you do it. That's the end of it. Give me a call if you have any questions. Love you.